Hi guys, it's Jade here. How's it going? Welcome back to Fanservice Friday. Today we're going to be continuing with Tenshi on. Last time, Kyo and Rose managed to find Tenshi in the future, which is actually a desolate, complete, another destroyed wasteland, ravaged by disease and poverty, apparently. This is what happens when big corporations take monetary profits over the value of human lives. They end the world. I don't know why. Anyway, so now, this bitch, in what appears to look kinda like a virgin killer sweater, is here now and she's trying to talk to us, so let's see what she has to say. She stood at the center and had somehow snaked her way into the room unheard, wearing her casual attire. Well, she's a ninja, of course she's gonna sneak her way into the room, Kenji, come on! Electricity isn't as painful as it is in your time. We save as much of it as we can so we can power the time window. We're very sparing with our jumps, and luckily we get a bit of help. You did this to us! Did I? I may have brought you back here, but who sent you in the first place? Well, Michelle did, but she only did it because we asked. You're both more naive than I gave you credit for. You honestly haven't pieced it together yet? Quit talking in riddles. What do you plan on doing with us? With Kenji? Something that we've been planning ever since you met him. Possibly before that. If time is seen that way, I see it. How you see it? What is that supposed to mean? Should I really speak about this now, Rose? Are you actually concerned about my theories on life and time? I can't do much else right now other than hear you blather about nonsense, so be my guest. I appreciate the vote of confidence, Your Highness. She crossed her arms, obviously getting impatient with Rose's attitude. Look, we really don't want any trouble. Please, just let us go. We know that what you're trying to do, and I can't say that I view you as bad people anymore. The fact that you did in the first place is already enough to irk me. Look, we didn't know. Messing with time itself shouldn't really be something that we do. And why is that? The idea of time travel was apparently invented eons ago, and you shared it with no one. So it lay dead in this basement for hundreds of years, until Bunny and I dug it from its grave. Instead of making a difference and changing the world for the better, you and Tensai all sat on your hands and let everything pass you by. And look at what that did for us. You saying this is all our fault? Purposefully? No. There was no way you could know that the things would end up like this. But your cowardice was the problem. You're calling us cowards for not wanting to tamper with laws of time and space? Excuse us for not wanting to tear reality apart. And that is where the problem lies. You all think time is like some fragile china plate spinning on a stick. No destination, and if it were even nudged, it would all come crashing down. What you need to understand is our theory, that time is a river, and it will continue down its own path despite our actions. But we can change the stream we follow into. Bunny and I, we just want to escape from this reality. We know there truly isn't anything that can be done about this timeline, but if we can see a different one, and live within it, then that is what we shall do. But you haven't confirmed whether your theory is correct either, have you? No, but that will change very, very soon. The three of us looked up to hear a very familiar voice. Through the shadows, a curvy figure walked out towards us. That was when we realized who it was. No way. It can't be. I fucking knew it! I fucking knew it! Michelle? Congratulations, girls. You finally pieced it together. Why you didn't do it earlier is beyond my comprehension. But you were back with Tensai. Who's operating the time window? I am. I always am. I was operating it for Bunny and Mizuki as well. The whole time? Well, admittedly, no. It all started a few weeks ago when I received a distress beacon through the Time Window's interface. I decoded it and discovered it to be coming from an unknown period of time in the distant future. After a while, we communicated back and forth, and I sent the messages on how to repair the Time Window. But, Michelle, how are you sure that it wasn't some sort of trap from the government? I know how to read the machine that I built, Kyo. I knew that this was the very same distress beacon which I had integrated into its systems, just in case something fell apart and we got trapped or lost in a time we couldn't escape from. When I realized the distress beacon was coming from the future, I knew there was something wrong. The fact that they had to rebuild it means, well, I don't know yet. This is complete and utter ridiculousness! Michelle, you knew the whole time about these guys' plans. Why didn't you tell us? I told Tensai. I told him as soon as I discovered what was going on. He was furious with me. He thought I had just revealed his life's work to a bunch of no-good hackers. I tried to explain it to him, but for some reason he couldn't wrap his brilliant mind around the idea of people other than him having control over time. At that moment, I thought he was controlling, insane, even arrogant, but I think he was just afraid. I know he kept his invention out of the government's hands so that they wouldn't abuse the power of the time window, so the idea that others had their hands on it, that struck more fear than hope within him. He thought it would become a trend, that people would come back and try to take away his work. He was foolish, but I understood his reasons. It doesn't make him any less of an idiot, however. Don't you dare talk about my grandfather like that! Michelle hesitated for a moment, stepping towards me slowly with an accusing eye. Kenji, do you actually know what kind of person your grandfather is? How much time have you spent with him since he brought you to the lab? 10 minutes? 15? You've been around the other girls more than you've ever been around him, and that was the main reason he brought you here. To help you as if you belonged, despite how alien your surroundings were. But... I'm sorry I couldn't tell you anything sooner, Kenji, but I'm afraid it wasn't part of the plan. What plan, Michelle? What are you trying to use Kenji for? And why Kenji? It's complicated, but I'll do my best to explain. I suppose I should start from the beginning. Come out, to the old entertainment center. More breathing room in there. She gestured to us, and we all willingly followed, still really from the revelation. I fucking knew that she was the one helping these fuckers. And let me just say, what the fuck is with that outfit? Not saying I have a problem with it or anything, I'm just saying. Wow. This is gonna say, I shouldn't say anymore because, as I've said this before, that says a lot more about me than it should, and I don't want people thinking of anything completely lewd about me. Now that I thought about it, it was actually quite obvious. The muttering, her being the main one to control everything about the time window, it all made sense, really. But still, the fact that she was working for both sides, whose side did she favor more anyway? The entertainment room had seen better days, but there was still enough room for us all to sit. It was nice that we were being treated more like guests than captives, but it was still rather a put-off atmosphere. Can't work good today. Michelle waited a moment before beginning her explanation. So, after I told Gramps about Mizuki and Bunny, and after he flipped his lid about it, he kept a close eye on the machine from then on out. He wanted to track the hackers at all costs, putting most of his time and effort into keeping his machine away from prying eyes. It seemed like he upped security every day, and he got very paranoid. This is getting intense. He mellowed out just a bit after. But I could tell he still had his eye on me. I had to sneak into the lab late at night and relay all sorts of information to the other end. I still had no idea who was communicating with me, but I knew they needed help. Their messages came in scrambled and rushed, but as the time window was gradually fixed, I was able to communicate with them more clearly. Thank goodness, too. We were in desperate need of instruction. We were about to give up, too, until we got your messages. Ah, Bunny, when did you arrive? I was just hanging out in the entertainment center waiting for all of you to get here. Well then, anyways. I looked to my side. Rose was still looking up at Michelle with a hurt gaze. I could tell how betrayed she felt by looking at her, but at the same time there was a glimmer of worry. It was then that she glanced back down at her chest, likely checking to see if it was still swelling while we were trapped in the future time. Hey, it's gonna be okay. I whispered this to her, and I took her hand, gently squeezing it in a reassuring manner. She looked over at me and gave me a weak smile, nodding while doing her best to keep from tearing up. All these things had been happening so quickly for her. It was obvious that she was deeply terrified, but she was doing her best to keep a brave face while it all happened. Where was I? Ah yes, the messages. Day by day, each communication became clearer and calmer. I could tell that the words at the other end were beginning to show faith in what I was saying. I knew I couldn't bring them back here forever to help them escape their plight, due to the effects of the time window. Doing so would overload their endocrine systems and could potentially kill them if they tried living here for more than a year. So I decided to help them, to give them an opportunity to change the future. Even though Tensai warned us of not to tamper with anything in the past, Gramps' ideals and theories were old and based heavily on his own bias and superstition. He had never experimented with any other hypothesis, namely that possibly changing the future wouldn't destroy everything. You don't sound absolutely sure of yourself, Michelle. We haven't tested the idea yet. Trust me, we wanted to, but we were unsure whether anything we did actually had any bearing on the future. So we decided to work on an idea. A paradox. We began drafting up a concept, and after some study and further workings, we knew what we had to do. Something that seemed insignificant, but that would affect all of us in one way or another. And what would that be? Michelle smiled devilishly and stepped towards me. I wasn't used to her new outfit, but since she was in a different time, she had her own time suit and everything, needless to say. It was just as revealing as durable as the others. On your 18th birthday, a horrible accident befell your family. Am I correct? Uh-oh. Oh, fuck. Yeah, thanks so much for bringing that up again, Michelle. Seriously, that just happened, so why do you have to... Hush, Kenji. The reason I'm bringing it up is because a very important choice is going to be made very soon. It's going to be up to you to see whether or not it is realized. Why me? Because with you, there is a real risk behind it. If we want the results that we seek, we have to put everything we can into this one single incident. Just get on with it. What do you want from me? I'm sorry, Kenji, but I'm going to have to ask you to burn down your family's house. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck! That's horrible! Oh my god! Oh! So, is it him? So, maybe it was Kenji that destroyed his whole life, that caused Kenji to meet the girls in the first place? Oh my fucking god, my head hurts so much right now, I can't comprehend this bullshit! Ah! Oh god! That's a pretty fucked up way to prove your theory correct, Michelle! It's bad enough that you betrayed everyone else. I mean, I can understand it, kinda, but still, to ask Kenji to burn down his family's house? What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck? Ugh! Okay, hang on. I need something to drink real quick. Okay, I'm good. Little fap right there, and we're good. Okay. Michelle, have Kyo and Rose made it back safely yet? Michelle, where are you? Michelle, are you in here? Where could she be? Am I the only one in the lab right now? Michelle? Rose? Kyo? Is anyone around? No, you fucking idiot! They're not there! I have a bad feeling about this. You want me to... What? The plan that we're setting up is a dangerous one, but it's very workable. I'll explain in greater detail once we get back to that time period, but for now... No, Michelle. What are you talking about? Michelle's last attitude towards her previous statement was making my skin crawl. Did she actually just suggest that we go back and burn down my parents' house? My head was swimming and I felt faint. I know how you feel, Kenji. This is pretty much shock to me. I mean, I know it's your family and all, but still, this is pretty fucked up. This couldn't be happening. It had to be a misunderstanding. But it was so blunt. It was hard to believe that was anything but the truth. That was not the time, Kenji. Oh, quite the contrary, Michelle. I think I'd like to reiterate on the notion of burning up my family's house down. Without thinking, I lunged over at her out of pure rage. All of these feelings I had been bottling up the past week had burst out of me and were spilling over, and the aggression was about to meet with Michelle. But she was quicker than me, and she took her cane and spun it, its form moving at a blinding pace to strike me at the base of my spine. The action knocked the wind out of me, causing me to howl in pain and collapse to the floor. I know that the idea is callous and possibly heartless, but if Project Paradox goes the way I think it will, you won't have to worry for long. I don't want to be part of your games anymore, Michelle. Just let me and Rose and Kyo all go home to our time while you tinker around with your time window. I'm afraid I can't do that, Kenji. The very idea of your house burning down at your hands is already a risky enough one to not make you go back. I know this seems confusing, and it is a bit too much, but it's for the greater good, I promise you. I still felt the rage inside me. It was like a lump in my chest that wanted to burn its way out of me. But Michelle hit me in such a way that kept me from moving. I hadn't even registered the possibility that she may have temporarily paralyzed me with that blow. I could hear her sigh. Izuki, take him to his quarters and to rest and recover. Bunny, take Rose and Kyo to their own separate room together. Hey! The last thing I need is you two scheming with him. Now go, take care of him. I saw both Mizuki and Bunny nod, taking me by the torso and lifting me over her shoulder, before swiftly walking over to a room within the hallway. She dropped me off on the back of the bed and stood in the doorway looking at me. What? I understand how you must feel. Oh, do you now? So you know what it's like to be told to kill your own family? I said it with biting sarcasm, but I could tell from her eyes that she was being serious. Let's just say, I didn't have the best upbringing. She paused, then turned back to me. But that's none of your concern. Rest, Kenji. Tomorrow will be a difficult day. With those words, she exited into the dark hallway, leaving me to collapse on my bed and stare at the ceiling. Relax? How could I possibly relax knowing that what I had to do tomorrow as part of this project? I brought my hands up to my face and rubbed my eyes. I was tired. I had barely slept since I had gotten here, and this wasn't changing, especially now. I sat upwards, looking around the dark room, then finally making up my mind. I quietly stood, making my way silently towards the doorway. I looked out, making sure no one was keeping tabs on me, and began to make my way down the hall. I needed answers that Michelle wasn't giving me. If I could just find them, maybe I wouldn't feel as uneasy. I made my way into the room adjacent to mine, thinking at least one of these rooms was used to hold paperwork. They had shown me the experimental lab, and it seemed to be just a storage closet for various spare parts. No real shelves or bookcase was within it, so the plans must have been in one of these other bedrooms. I went in quietly, sneaking over to the bookcase. I rolled open a drawer on the bottom, leafing through. Nothing but clothing in this one. I dug around a bit, but I barely had time to look before I heard someone approaching. Crap! I looked around, trying to find a good place to hide until the coast was clear. The closet nearby seemed big enough to hold me, so I swung the door open and quickly snuck inside, shutting it behind me as swiftly but silently as I could. A figure appeared in the doorway, nimbly walking towards the bookcase. They lit a candle, allowing the room to fill with light and show me who it was. Mizuki. Oh, this is not good. This is definitely not good. No, the fucking psycho ninja shinobi with a fucking katana and wearing a possibly virgin killer sweater. Ugh. She's scary enough as it is. I was holding my breath, sweating and fearful, hoping she was just passing through this room, but she began to undress. But as she began to undress, I realized, oh my god. She made swift work of taking off her dress, only being in her underwear as she stepped towards the closet I was in. My heart was pounding faster and faster the closer she got until... He really does not pick the best hiding places now, does he? Kenji. Hi Mizuki. Fancy seeing you here. Seeing as this is my room, it's not quite the coincidence you make it out to be. You're kinda... I'm aware of my state of undress, Kenji. I'm just choosing not to worry about it in front of you. Why is that? Well, I'm not supposed to mix business with pleasure for the most part. She backed away from the closet, gesturing towards the bed. Take a seat. Let's talk about this. Okay. I took the seat she offered and watched as she picked out some clothes from her closet. I did my best to avoid staring at her, but such a task wasn't necessarily easy. She eventually donned her casual clothing before sitting next to me. Even with such a cold disposition, I could tell she was trying to be comforting. What are you truly afraid of, Kenji? I mean, there's a few things, but are you referring to what I have to do tomorrow? But it could be that, yes. Well, I don't know. The thought of being my parents' murderer from a week ago isn't exactly settling in my stomach very well. What if I told you that the whole reason Michelle planned this was to alter that fate? What? Michelle is not as cruel as she's making herself out to be. She's trying to keep the details to herself in order not to sway your decision. To make it somewhat clear, if not a bit unfair, I feel a duty to tell you what your two options truly are. Options? You mean you're telling me I have a choice to do this? Then why ask at all? It's simple. There are two possible ways for this to go, Kenji. You burn down your home, and life goes on as it already has. Or you don't burn it down, and risk many things. Time falling apart, a paradox ripping you to shreds in a metaphysical sense, or at the very least. All the people you have gotten to know within the past week disappearing from memory. What? Rose, Kyo, Michelle, myself, oh god, why did I say myself? Myself and Bunny, all of us. We'll disappear in the blink of an eye to you. Of course, we'll still exist out there in your time, but again, perhaps not. We are altering time. Your time, your life. And it will have a huge effect on all of us. If Michelle's own theories on time alteration are correct, well, something much better will happen. But she is aware of the risks, as am I. I suggest you take some opportunities, Kenji, and make some decisions while you can. You have one night left of this, depending on your decision. Make the most of it. Okay? Thank you, Mizuki. Now then, now that I think about it... Oh. This is getting interesting. I watched as she pulled her turtleneck top from her body, glancing at me seductively. I could take a bite just this once, if you'd like. Sure? Mizuki turned to me, her face getting close to mine. Oh, it just occurred to me. Have you felt either of them yet? What do you mean? Don't play coy with me, Kenji. Have you gotten a chance to feel these on either of the girls yet? She suddenly set my hands on her breast, and I nearly jumped through the roof. I didn't think so. Your self-control is beyond what I know of other men. Call me impressed. She pulled my hands away, and I set them at my side. I have to admit, there is something interesting about you, Kenji. So reluctant, yet willing. You have to remember that even though girls like me like to be respected, we still like to have fun just as much as guys do. So I suggest you have some fun while you can. She donned her casual clothing once again, standing from the bed. Thank you, Mizuki? You're welcome. I will let Bunny know that she can allow you into Kyo and Rose's quarters. What, really? But Michelle doesn't have to know. Now that I think about it, I'll be able to send them both to your room without raising all that much suspicion from Michelle. But you'll all have to keep it down for the night, I'm afraid. So no funny business, Kenji. She winked again, and I jumped slightly at what she was suggesting. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit disappointed, but I didn't expect any sort of action on a night as tense as this one. Fair enough, Kenji. And what Mizuki said just then and there. That's the perfect response to that noble guy routine. Like, you can respect women, yet at the same time, when they're in that particular type of situation, you treat them like a woman. Don't think of them as just something to maul and just disappear. Respect women as they would try to respect you as a guy, but try to let them have fun. Such a sudden realization fills me with a warm feeling of ecstasy. The feeling, not the drug. Ugh. But I had to discuss these things with the two of them before tomorrow happened. Rose and Kyo would definitely be able to help. Help me think through the cloud of confusion I was under. Okay, got it. Thank you again, Mizuki. Mizuki nodded, leading me back to my room before rushing away silently in a traditional stealth-like manner. After a few minutes, my door slightly cracked open, Bunny's face popping in. Alright, Romeo, enjoy the company. Don't get too handsy, they're still super huge right now. There was a light smack from the other side of the door. Ouch! Hey, I was just teasing him. Gosh. Anyways, Kenji, Mizuki will be outside this door, and I'll be in front of where the girls are supposed to be to eliminate any suspicion from Michelle. So, yeah. Enjoy your night together. I'll be back around here to pick them up before dawn. And with that, both Rose and Kyo stepped in tentatively. Meek looks on both of their faces. Ugh! 1 second. Alright, so this is where we're gonna leave things off here, and my god, it looks like their breasts have gotten even bigger than before. Like, ridiculously big. I mean, I don't know, because I can't really tell because they probably use the same sprites. But, still. They probably shouldn't stay in this timeline that long, so this is where we're gonna leave off. So next time on Time Tenshi, we're gonna discuss a plan with the girls about what the fuck Michelle is planning on doing with us. So until next time, everyone, have a lovely day.